This is the new Hyundai i20, one of the latest entrants into the supermini class. Now there's already quite a few established names in this part of the market. Fiesta, the Corsa, the Clio, the Polo, and all of them sell really well, probably because we're so familiar with them. But what about the i20, a model that's not as famous? Is it any good? Or is it so good that we should be broadening our supermini related horizons? Well, I'm going to tell you everything, but before that, make sure you subscribe to the Carbuyer YouTube channel, click the like button if you like this video, and click the bell icon, and then you can get notifications every time a video goes live.
Remember this? Probably not. It's the previous i20, and as you can see, the styling didn't exactly help it stand out against the usual suspects. The new one looks a lot more striking. There are some pretty dramatic shapes and slashes in the bodywork that all add up to a much more striking appearance. It wasn't just the design of the old car that was bland though. Driving one was distinctly forgettable too. But that's also changed, now that former BMW M Division man Albert Biermann is in charge of R&D at Hyundai.
The result of his input means that this new i20 is a huge improvement in terms of steering and handling. It feels much more direct and committed when you take a corner quickly. It also doesn't really roll that much on bends, which is nice. Now, one of the key selling points of the Ford Fiesta is that it leads the class in terms of dynamics. But with this new i20, Hyundai are giving Ford a run for their money in terms of the driving department.
At launch, the i20 is only available with a 1-litre 3-cylinder petrol engine with mild hybrid technology. It produces 99 brake horsepower, so is on par with the TCE 100 engine in the Renault Clio, the entry-level version of the 1-litre EcoBoost in the Ford Fiesta, and the 1-litre TSI VW Polo. Hyundai's mild hybrid technology consists of a 48-volt battery and a starter generator that can harvest energy from braking and using supplementary power from the stop-start system, acceleration and cruising. The result is fuel economy of up to 55.4 miles per gallon, an increase from 48 miles per gallon in the old car, and CO2 emissions of 118 grams per kilometre. Again, these figures are almost identical to what you'll see in the equivalent versions of the Clio, Fiesta and the Polo.
You can really feel the difference the mild hybrid system makes when you're out on the road too. I mean, the engine in this car is excellent on its own. It doesn't vibrate at certain revs like some 3-cylinder engines can, but it also benefits from a little boost of power from the 48-volt battery when the turbo isn't quite at full speed. That means it feels quite nippy when you accelerate from idle. You don't have to rev as hard as you would expect. And the mild hybrid system is pretty smooth as well, so when the engine cuts in and out when it's at low speeds, you don't really notice it. Other things to mention? Well, we have a 6-speed gearbox, which is very nice. We also have a sport button if you want to sharpen up the car's reactions a little bit. Most people probably aren't going to use it that much, but it's very nice to have. It's good fun. I mean, compared to how out of place it would have been in the previous i20. Now, this new model will be the basis for a new sportier version called the i20N, which will be a direct competitor to the Fiesta ST when it arrives. And it's also another reason why this standard i20 is so good to drive. Now, the suspension is slightly firmer than a lot of the cars in its class, which is partly one of the reasons why it corners better than some of them. But it's by no means uncomfortable. It's worth checking you agree before going any higher than the entry-level model, because the next two expensive models, which includes this premium one, have slightly bigger wheels, so the ride is less forgiving. Oh, we need to talk about something. And that is what the i20 looks like on the inside, because, oh dear, we have seen way more attractive interiors than this one. I mean, if you're after splashes of colour or contrasting textures and swathes of tactile touch points, then you're not allowed. Because Hyundai thinks you've been very naughty this year, and they are putting a lump of coal in your stocking this Christmas. A lump of coal that is made out of grey and black plastic. I mean, look at it. It's everywhere. And unlike other cars, There's nothing to break it up. There's no chrome or gloss inserts. There's no grain or mottle effect on any of the surfaces. It's not that the dash just looks terrible. The finish feels a bit cheap and very bland. If you were to compare this to the Peugeot 208 or the Renault Clio, I mean, there is no comparison.
That's pretty much where the bad news starts and finishes. As well, the inside of the car isn't the greatest to look at. The i20 does come with plenty of equipment as standard. Even the entry-level SE Connect model gets 16-inch alloy wheels, a leather steering wheel, manual air conditioning, an 8-inch touchscreen infotainment system, digital dials, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, cruise control, rear parking sensors, and a rear-view camera. Moving up to this mid-range premium spec car adds luxuries like full LED lights, climate control, heated front seats and steering wheel, automatic wipers, and the bigger 17-inch alloy wheels. The third and final model in the range is called Ultimate, and at around 22 grand, it makes the i20 rather expensive. Extra equipment includes a contrasting roof, a smart key, wireless phone charging, a Bose sound system, and some extra safety tech, including blind spot collision warning and AEB with pedestrian and cycling detection. Our recommendation would be to seriously consider the entry-level model and move up to the premium if you like the extras. If you're paying for the car on a monthly basis, the difference between the two isn't huge.
Practicality is another area where the i20 trumps a lot of its competition. I mean, back here, lots of headroom, lots of legroom, so much so, you can have 2 6-foot people sat on these outer seats and 2 tall people in the front. I mean, the middle seat isn't that comfortable, but in a car of this size, you wouldn't really expect it to be. Say another downside to the design of the i20 is that this belt line is actually quite steep. So where from the outside it looks very stylish, but from the inside, you get to look at this dreamy black plastic rather than out of the window. Now, the boot space isn't too bad either. You've got 352 litres of space, which is only slightly smaller than the Ford Focus or the VW Golf, which are in the class above. It's only the Renault Clio that is the direct rival that beats it with 391 litres.
Deal makers versus deal breakers. The new i20 is up there with the Ford Fiesta as the best supermini to drive. There's plenty of space inside, and the boot is one of the biggest in this class. The i20 isn't the budget offering it used to be, but it does come very well equipped. The car looks much better on the outside than it did before, but the design of the interior is a bit dull. There's too much plain black plastic everywhere.
Chances are, if you're looking for a car of this size, you've probably already got the Ford Fiesta, the Renault Clio, the VW Polo and the Vauxhall Corsa on your shortlist. Well, get your pen out, because the Hyundai i20 deserves to be on that list. It ticks pretty much all the same boxes and in some areas outperforms the more established names. You get a peppy 1-litre engine with a very nice mild hybrid system, good practicality, plenty of equipment as standard, and a driving experience that makes this just as fun to drive as a Ford Fiesta. Also important in this part of the market is Hyundai's competitive PCP finance deals. And the i20 is still great value, even if it's not the budget car it used to be.
If you enjoyed this video, then why not watch our Ford Fiesta review and our small cars playlist. Thanks for watching.